Academic rigor seems to be the buzzword in education right now, and the question is, how do we add rigor into the things that we're doing with our students? Well, the truth is, as adults and students, we all need rigor in our lives. So how do we add rigor? What does that look like? What does that mean? Rigor is really just the process of stretching ourselves and in our learning, and it is being able to have ourselves thinking and challenging ourselves in a task or an activity that we're doing. So everybody is at different levels, and so everyone's amount of rigor, what you have to put into something, is going to look a little bit different because of the different levels that we're at. So let's think about an athlete, and you go to the gym. We have lots of different levels of people at the gym, and when they're there, they're working out to build their own stamina, to get stronger within themselves. They are pushing themselves. If you go to the gym and all you do is, go sit in the sauna, your amount of rigor is not up there with someone who's over there lifting the weights, and they're really challenging themselves, and they're stretching themselves, and they're pushing themselves a little bit further than really what their performance level is. So that is adding rigor. So what does that look like in a classroom? So let's say we're in a kindergarten classroom. I was a kindergarten teacher for years. Say in a kindergarten classroom, we're wanting to add some rigor into a writing assignment. Now, we have lots of different levels. We have some students that don't write, and some that don't know their letters yet, and then we have other students that are writing and can read already. So how do we add rigor into a lesson? We're going to have an activity that we're going to say, okay, we're going to be writing today about being a good citizen. This was a conversation I had this past week. We're going to be writing about being a good citizen. So the rigor is going to be, we're going to start and we're going to tell the students we're going to write a story. We're going to illustrate, what it is to be a good citizen. So for our high-level students, the rigor for them is they are writing a sentence and telling about how they're going to be a good citizen. Their picture has details of them doing something and being a good citizen. Now, for those who can't write, we're asking them, so what did you draw about? What did you illustrate? And they're going to say, oh, well, I'm a good helper. And I'm going to say, okay, well, for helper, how do you spell that? They're going to try and sound that word out, because that's where their rigor is. That's what's stretching them, because they don't know how to do that. So you help them in doing that. For the little guy who doesn't even know any sounds yet, we're gonna help them to be able to say, helper, if they can verbalize. If you can't verbalize it, you can't write it. And so they're going to verbalize, a helper, and we're going to talk about that first letter. So we're going to make sure that we're hitting all the different levels to get rigor in there for all of our students. So within our own selves, we need to ask ourselves, what is it that I need to do to get rigor in my life? As an adult, my rigor is a lot higher and needs to be, a harder task. So that's what you're asking yourself. Adding rigor really isn't all that hard. But it takes time. You have to think about, you have to know where your students are, you have to know where you are, and you have to be honest about what is it that's pushing me forward to make me better at what I'm doing. All right, guys, my challenge for you today is for all of us to add some rigor to our lives. Bye.